Alright, let's cut right to it. Empathy. You know what that is, right? Empathy is your ultimate leverage in relationships, whether you're dealing with clients, your team, or the people closest to you. Empathy is the X factor that takes every connection, every conversation, every negotiation to the next level. And here's the kicker. Empathy is not just about being soft. It's a power move. It's about understanding the emotional terrain of the people you're dealing with. It's like reading the market. You've got to understand the human emotions that drive decisions, that drive loyalty, that drive trust. Here's the thing. In the world of business, we're constantly looking for the edge, the secret sauce that separates you from the competition. Well, empathy is your competitive advantage in the world of relationships. Why? Because when you can see things from the other person's perspective, when you can step into their shoes, you're not just reacting anymore, you're anticipating. You're predicting their needs, their desires, their fears, and that puts you in control. That's when you go from being just another player in the game to being the one who runs the show. Let me tell you something. People don't make decisions based on logic alone. Whether it's closing a deal, falling in love, or building a friendship, decisions are driven by emotion. And if you're smart, if you're truly smart, you'll understand that it's your job to tap into those emotions. Empathy lets you do that. It's like having access to the emotional balance sheet of every person you deal with. You understand their highs, their lows, their ambitions, and their fears, and you use that information to create mutual success. Think about it. Great relationships, whether they're personal or professional, are like mutual funds. Both sides are invested. Both sides are working toward a shared outcome. But here's the catch. You've got to understand where the other person is coming from. You've got to know what's at stake for them. And that's where empathy comes in. It's your ability to read the emotional market. What are they feeling? What do they need? What are their concerns? When you can answer those questions, you stop guessing and start connecting. Now, don't get me wrong. Empathy isn't just about being nice, it's about being strategic. It's about building long-term value in your relationships. You can't just bulldoze your way through life, expecting people to follow you because you're forceful or charismatic. That works for a while, sure, but long-term success, long-term loyalty, that's built on understanding, on connection, on making people feel heard and valued. Here's what empathy really is. It's emotional intelligence. It's your ability to navigate human emotions as skillfully as you navigate financial markets. You wouldn't invest in a stock without understanding its fundamentals, right? You wouldn't put your money into a venture without knowing the risks and potential rewards. Well, empathy is the same principle, but applied to relationships. You're investing in people. And to do that effectively, you've got to understand their emotional fundamentals. Empathy is what gives you that 360-degree view of a relationship. It lets you see things from all angles, not just your own. And here's the truth. When you're in a relationship, whether it's with a partner, a client, or even your team, it's not just about you. It's about the other person. It's about understanding their needs, their desires, and finding that common ground where both sides can win. Let's talk about business for a second. When you're closing a deal, you think it's just about the numbers, right? You think it's about the product, the price, the pitch. But guess what? Deals are closed on emotional terms. People don't just buy the product, they buy you. They buy the feeling they get from working with you, the trust they build with you. And the only way to create that trust is through empathy. By showing that you understand their pain points, that you understand their goals, and that you genuinely care about delivering value. That's empathy in action. It's the invisible currency that seals deals and builds empires. Now let's bring it back to personal relationships. You think empathy doesn't apply there? Wrong. It's just as crucial, if not more. Think about your closest relationships. Your family, your friends, your significant other. These relationships don't thrive on logic. They thrive on emotional connection, on understanding, on empathy. If you're not willing to understand the other person's perspective, if you're not tuned into their emotions, then you're missing the entire point. You're playing the game blind, and sooner or later, that's going to cost you. It's going to cost you the relationship, it's going to cost you the trust, and it's going to cost you the loyalty. Empathy is what keeps the wheels turning in every relationship. It's the oil that makes everything run smoothly. Without it, you're dealing with friction. You're dealing with miscommunication, misunderstandings, and eventually breakdowns. And once trust is broken, once the connection is lost, rebuilding it, that's a monumental task. But here's the thing about empathy. It's not something you're born with. It's a skill that you can develop, that you can refine, that you can use to your advantage in every relationship you have. Just like in business, where you sharpen your sales skills, your negotiation tactics, and your financial acumen, you've got to sharpen your empathy skills. You've got to practice listening, really listening, not just hearing the words, but understanding the feelings behind them. You've got to practice reading the room, sensing when something's off, and addressing it before it becomes a problem. Think of empathy as your relationship portfolio. You're not just managing one asset, you're managing multiple. Each relationship is different. Each one requires a different approach, a different strategy. But at the core of each strategy, empathy, understanding, emotional intelligence. You wouldn't treat all your investments the same way, would you? Of course not. Some are high risk, high reward. Others are steady and dependable. The same goes for relationships. Some require more attention, more care, more understanding, but in every single one, empathy is your key to success. And let's talk about the return on investment, because you know I'm all about ROI. When you invest in empathy, when you make the effort to truly understand the people in your life, the returns are exponential. You build deeper relationships, you create stronger bonds, you develop trust that can withstand anything. And that trust, that's your relationship capital. That's what keeps people loyal to you, what keeps them coming back, what makes them go the extra mile for you. So how do you apply empathy today? Start with active listening. When someone's talking to you, don't just wait for your turn to speak. Listen, understand, feel what they're feeling. Ask questions, dig deeper, and show them that you care about their perspective. Next, practice perspective taking. When a problem arises, don't just see it from your angle. Try to see it from theirs. What are they feeling? What are they afraid of? What do they want? When you can answer those questions, you're not just reacting, you're responding in a way that strengthens the relationship. Finally, make empathy a daily practice. Just like you would with any other skill, you've got to work on it. In every interaction, in every conversation, ask yourself, how can I better understand this person? How can I connect with them on a deeper level? How can I make them feel seen, heard, and valued? Because when you do that, when you make empathy a part of your daily life, you're not just building relationships. You're building loyalty, you're building trust, and you're building success. Empathy isn't just a nice to have. It's a must have. It's your secret weapon in relationships, in business, and in life. So go out there, put empathy into action, and watch how it transforms not only your relationships, but your entire approach to life. Trust me, you've got this.